Guys, and welcome to another fun-filled, exciting tutorial on using comsol. Now, if any of you have already sat my module, you'll know that we used ANSYS aggressively, and what I'm really wanting to do is to expose you more to other alternates. Now, comsol is something that's climbing, and I'll always introduce every video like this so you're aware. This is not a software dig. It's not to say ANSYS is poor and comsol's amazing. It's nothing like that. This is just for your understanding and your knowledge, really. So I'm presuming that the live link to comsol is already running, so if you've not done already, just double click on comsol multiphysics with MATLAB. It will be a link that's on the desktop, and when that emerges, what you'll get is something that looks like that. This just tells you that the temporary server has been established, and then MATLAB will start. Just for your own entertainment, earlier recorded this video, totally forgot to hit the microphone, so I've just gone through it a couple of hours ago and left me extremely frustrated. Anyway, let's just take a bit of a navigation through. Now, if you can hear a noise in the background, by the way, I have a printer running, so apologies if it gets irritating. So, comsol first introduces, it opens itself up, and it says, right, you have two initial points that you can start looking at. Now, the MPH model library is the default models that you've been using. That comes with comsol. Now, what we're going to do is not use these. We're going to use our own. We're going to use the dog bone. We're going to pull in the dog bone. And this tutorial is really based on grabbing the data from comsol and then manipulating the data. Good for presentations, good to go into any type of document that you're writing, give it verifications to the actual part or anything like that. And what we're going to do is play around with that quite a bit. First things first, let's take a look. Now, how many times have you been sat there and you go, I can't remember a command, or I can't remember a one-liner, I can't remember a function. Story of my life, really is. However, if this happens when using the software, type help, MLI, this will then bring you the full library of everything that you need, give you the full overview, give you the renders, give you the GUIs, give you everything that you need to interface with it. And yeah, it's as simple as that. It's extremely good for stuff like that. You can pull it, not a problem. Anyway, that's just as a bit of an info for you. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the MPX library, but we're not going to open it from the library that's the default library. So what I'm going to do is type mph open. Go ahead and do that, and then what it will do is bring you up a little bit of an. Now you'll see I've already got dog bone here. This is because I have, as I've just said, I had this running and then it's died and then it gets embarrassing and then moving on. So what I'll do is I'm going to browse. When I browse, now if you remember we did the dog bone, wherever you have your dog bone saved, make sure that you navigate to it. This is similar to MATLAB when you're navigating your way through and it doesn't always show the files and folders. So go to lecture notes, I'm going to lecture notes, go to your own folder location. So I'm going to my lecture notes, I'm going to go to the FEA and I'm going to go on models. Now dog bone is actually stored in here. It's not seen, but it is there. So if I click select folder, what you'll see here is comsol assembly, comsol dog bone, comsol pipe verification. And I put validation, that's awkward. But what we're actually going to use is we're going to use the comsol dog bone. Whatever you named it, you can name it comsol whatever, dumbbell, whatever you want. Just make sure that you're on that file. I'm going to click open. Now what it does is goes through the M file behavior between comsol and MATLAB, loads it in, recognizes it, and then sees the initial commands because comsol have all these running in the background. It's a great piece of software. Now when it comes in, you'll see comsol is now accessible using variable model. Okay, you kind of go, yeah, that's really, really cool, but exactly what the hell does that give me? So I'll show you what it gives you. Let's say I just want to look at, I just want to see the geometry. I want to see what's going on with it. I want to see if it's right. I'm going to go mph geom, open arguments, model, bracket, comma, sorry, exclamation, GOM1, close my argument. So the MPH geometry, because you'll notice I've used the term model, which comsol itself told me use model. GOM1 is basically, we are going to go into a bit more depth of where we can explore through what things have been characterized as. I'm going to close that line, and 3, 2, 1, there we go. That is the dumbbell, and we've got the same functions as ever like we have in comsol, so we can spin it around, do whatever, but we've now got MATLAB variables that we can tie into this. This is extremely good. Right, so let's say we're happy with the geometry, we've seen it. What we want to really know now is we want to know the mesh. So in fact what I'll do is type this just because it can get frustrating if I'm copying and pasting. So I'll go mph mesh, open the bracket, I'm going to go model dash mesh 1, close it, close the argument, close the line, boom. Now we're straight into mesh, and you can see there, if you remember, I was mocking it, I was saying it was a bit rubbish, when really, I mean, look at that, that is awful. But anyway, it did what it needed to do. We've got a tetrahedral mesh. We're using an extremely fine, because don't forget, this is a tiny representation of what it is that we're doing, and it gives us a good overview. Right. So then you go, right, okay, send the geometry, send the mesh. What else have you got to show me? In short, a lot. So we'll go mph. I want to plot the result. So I'm going to go plot model. Now don't be fooled by this. I know so many people have got it. It's well poor, doesn't work, never works right. This is because when the system runs, every time you create something, a new image, a new record is created. So PT1 will be your first, PT20 will be your 20th. And it really is that simple. And if you get anybody telling you any different, just ignore them. I normally do. Right, so I'm going to go PT. Oh, not PT, PG, sorry. Plot graph. Plot graph 1. Close arguments, close the line. There it is. Oh, come on. There we go. There it is. Now, okay, granted, I know what you'll all be thinking. That is a massive title. We don't have to keep that. We're going to play around with that in a bit. We'll get rid of that because it irritates me just looking at it. So we take a look around. As ever, exactly the same. We can navigate our way around. And we've got freedom to move whatever we want. Now I can hear a few of you through my through my super hearing, thinking, that's really great, but can I not just do all that on comsol? The answer is yes, you can. You can still do all that on comsol. However, what can you do on this that's so much better? I personally find the plots on MATLAB far superior. If you're an avid user of OpenLeaf, when you take plots from MATLAB and you put them into OpenLeaf, you're looking, you kind of go, oh my god, I made that. So MATLAB's plots are superior all round. For me personally, superior, absolutely. Anyway, let's get on to something sexy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a plot. We've done a single plot. Now, if those of you who are not familiar with MATLAB, think of your screen as one window. Then think of doing a plot. Within that window, what you get is just your graphical output. But MATLAB you can also create custom output plots within that window. So let's say, for example, your boss comes knocking on the door and says, right, I need something that shows the geometry, I need something that shows the meshing procedures, and I need 2 orientations of your results. So let's go X, Y, Y, Z. Something dead simple. Again, I'm making this up, so don't quote me on that. Oh, I tell you what I didn't show you. That's really awkward. If I push that back up again, what's missing from that? We have no idea what the legend is. What is that red? It looks like a giant. Looks like a giant refresher. It's about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. So I'm pointing that out as well, because if any of you give me an assignment that looks like that, yeah, it's not going to be worth much at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks dead cool, but it looks dead useless also. So, what are we missing? We're missing a legend. So let's get back in. If I come back into here, what comsol then says to you is, okay, if that's what you want, then tell me that you want that legend. So I can go, okay. So I'll go comma, open quotation. I'm going to go range num. If anybody's curious as to where these commands are coming from, these are comsol direct commands. In the list above, up here, you will find them. And I'm going to make that range num active. I'm going to give it 1. Run it again. Ooh, now that's looking a bit more attractive. Are we now agreed? So we've now got the legend, we've now got the overall view, we've got reference geometry for each to give us sizing, we've got a nice, well, I'd say nice title, it's a bit shite. We've also got the maximum and minimums. This tells us an awful lot in the basic form that we've put it in. But again, the argument is, could you not do that on comsol? Yes, you could. Easily do that. So then you instantly come away and go, well, what's the point? I'm going to show you one of them, and that is, I'm going to script. Now, if anybody's not sure how to get that script function, new script, come into your new script, and what we're going to do is we're going to create them sub-windows. We're going to do them subplots. Now, subplotting is immense. Really is. So let's go. We're going to go. Now, if anybody does write a subplot and you don't tab, then again I'm going to dock you like mad. It needs to be tabbed, needs to be well executed. If it's not well executed, it's a bit embarrassing. So I'm going to go subplot. Then what I can do within my subplot is it's now going to say, give me an N. Well, give me an M, give me an N, and give me a P. So M and N gives you your matrix and numbering, and your P gives geometric references to where you're sitting. So I'm going to go 2. I want a 2 by 2 because we agreed 2 windows. Well, we actually agreed 2 by 2, so we're going to go geometry, mesh, and 2 orientations of the plot of results. So I've gone 2 by 2 to define what I'm using for, and then I'm going 1 to give me the position. Then I'm going to close that because I don't need anything else. I'm in my subplot. Really, you don't need to, but I think you should. So I'm going to tab into my subplot and go nph dot geom. I don't know why I went dot. I'll tell you. You know how fast my own shoelaces. So I geom. Then I'm going to go model. You see there where we've called it in. The system's already recognised exactly what I'm looking for. And see how you got your geom tag. Oh, God, I love this system. So I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to go geom. And my tag in this case is 1. Close that. Close the line. Onto the next. I'm gonna, in fact, I'm gonna cheat here. I'm not saying cheating is great, but in this case, cheating is great. I'm gonna paste. Oh, look at what you could have won. Come back, go paste, and come down, delete that back in, and paste. Right, so we've now got 4 windows. I'm gonna change that to 2 because that's my next orientation position. Change that to 3. And then change that to 4. You must do that. If you keep them all the same, it's just going to keep overwriting at the same position. It'll cheer you up immensely. No, it won't. I'm lying. So I'm going mph geom, but this time I'm going to go mph mesh. I want to see what that mesh reference is, so I'm going to go mesh. Categorize number of 1. Then I'm going to go mph plot. And then I'm going to go, God, it's not PG. It is PG. It's PG. PG1. And then, again, this is not going to come out exactly as we want it yet, because there's a few more things we need to do to it to make it a bit more attractive. Because, again, it's alright doing the work, but if you can solve something big and it's not well presented, then nobody wants to know. That's the cold, hard truth of it all. Nobody wants to know. So you've got to try and take as much pride in the work that you're delivering. I'm just going to call this couple... Oh, group plotting. Oh, that's... I don't know where that one's there. I didn't even notice that one. And I'm going to save. It must be from earlier. Ah. So I'm going to add that to path. Right. So you see there, it's crashed. So it means I've instantly made a mistake. Where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? See how we've got lesh? Done that again. There we go, there we go. Right, so, got his geometry, got his mesh, got his 2 orientations. Still not quite right. I mean, let's face it, it's Calibri as far as a word font goes. It's shocking. Hate that word. Right, so let's get rid of that. Now what I want to do is I want to really try and control the orientation. I want to try and move this thing around to get it to where I want it to be be honest. So let me just see. Let's go view. Oops. So underneath here, we'll view. 090, I think. This is me just casting my memory back. I think it's 090. So again. Oh, now, see? What we got first is we've got that side view, and we could now do with the front view. I mean, granted, the front view would just be a big old circle, but we do still need to do that. So that's in our criteria of things that we must meet. So I'll go view. Again, I'm going to drop that in. I'm going to go 90 degrees on 0, close that, end the line, and then run it again. We'll run it again, and it's going to give us the key orientations that we're after, which is nice. Granted, we're missing one thing. The range num. Still not there. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm actually only going to put it in from one of these 2 plots, because they are the same plot, just different orientation. So I'll go tab, comment, and we'll go range num. Close that, come in, activate that as a vision, and then run it again. When we run it through for a second cycle, we've got that range num now. We're going to move this around in a little bit, so that's why I'm not too messing. What I need is all the right building blocks to get an awesome plot, to get an awesome graph that I can present in a piece of work. So that's why I'm just playing around with this at the moment. Okay. So now the other thing is as well, I'm just plotting 3-dimensional views. You in comsol, as we are going to explore, you can get 2D plots. If you remember in the dog bone one, we did that. You can extract that directly as well. So so you could easily put that one on as well. Just depends which way you want to go with it. Right. Now, one thing, font size. what I'm going to do is I'm going to go FS, set that to, let's go 20, close that. The reason I'm going to do that is that's going to become my font size for the graph. I want to add particular things in, so I'm going to set the GCA, which is the graphical interface. I'm going to drop that, put a comment in there, and I'm going to say font name. I need to be able to font name. What I really want to do with this now is I want to say, right, go to the font name. Once you get to the font name, set the font to whatever I tell it to be. And yes, I am very partial to Times. It is my thing. I do quite like it. So I'm going to go with Times, and then I'm going to go set GCA again. Now with this, what I'm really after now is setting the size, because you've probably find, or you will find throughout this year on your degree program, that getting that font the right size can often be a bit frustrating. If you've got a variable that controls the font size and makes sure it's well presented, it just does so much. So I'm going to comma there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in FS, close that, and oh, I tell you what might happen. See how I've not closed the line? It may think that it's meant to do it for other things, which is not. So I'm going to close that line off, and then I'm going to run it again. Now, I'm always conscious for just spelling something quite wrong. Have I spelled anything wrong there? I don't think I've spelled anything wrong. No. I mean, it's not changed the size, which is very disappointing. So let's just go 20, run it again. Now, so it's complaining. What I'm best doing now is checking back up to see what it's complaining about. Okay, unrecognizable variable. This is why I love it. This is why I genuinely love it. Look at that. You see where it's meant to be GCA? I put GAC. So if I bring that back, make that GCA, and I'm going to set this to FS, because I know FS as a function will do what I want it to. Ah, there we go. That's what I'm after. So you look now, we've got that 20 that I set to, and everything else is still in this shocking Calibra. Just saying. But now what I want to do is I want to bring everything in at that same size, because I know it's now working, which is great. So saving my patience is very valuable to me, as some of you will find out this year. Oh, I didn't want you to do that. Let me go down. Bring that in. And if anybody's curious as to why I'm doing this, you must know, you must realise, well, you must appreciate the idea that if you tab in, it gives you an idea where subplots sit. It just makes, I personally find it easier for reading, because you can read it and you see how, if I made a space there, and a space there, and a space there, these look like separate functions. But because they're sitting on the inside of each other, you know subplots are connected, and it looks better. So let's run it again. Oh, that's what I'm after. Now, what we got is something a bit more attractive. I still think the font's a little bit big. It's I mean, look at the collision on the numbers here. I can play around with this. I can stretch this to be even bigger. But what I'm going to do is just resist that. I'm going to drop that to perhaps something like 18. Run it again. No, not happy. So I'm going to go I'm probably going to go a bit more sensible. I'll go right down to 14, just to give me that font size. If I run it again, now you see now it's starting to look a little bit better. It could be orientated a little bit better, but we're on a definite move forward. Right. So that is our layout. We've got our layout set. What I want to do is move things around now. So I'm going to go to my point icon. That title, no longer needed. This title, I want it to sit centrally. I know, a few of you are like, well, is that really the right spot for it? I think so. I'm going to bring that down just a little bit. Something like that. And granted, we could probably do more with this. I mean, I'm probably, you see now what I'm doing is I'm phasing the actual thing into position, and then I'm going to output that as an image and then see if I can use it. So, I'm going to go File. If you are using OpenLeaf, you'll be aware of that. The best imaging for OpenLeafs is straight JPEG. So under here, if I go to JPEG, there is tons of configurations that you can put into there. What I'll do, I'm just going to stay with enhanced meta file and put that straight in that way. So I'll just call this group plot. And then save it. You see the snapshot like that, and that's it. We're now in a position where we can take this and go straight into Word. As I've said before, this software is phenomenal. So then, I'm going to go blank page, insert, picture, go to desktop, go to group plotting, go insert. Look at that. That is a masterpiece, is it not? So, I mean, I'm really anal with this stuff, so I'm going to just trim it. Wherever there's white, I'm going to trim it. And I'm just going to bring it in because... Oh, I don't like that. But, I mean, you could fix that. I'm not going to fix it for this, just because I wanted you to be aware of this process of being able to do that. So you look there, and then if you want to see, so if I go, oh, Calibra. If I go times, let's say the results, whoops, show. Now, the reason I do this is, if you look at these outputs, they're very similar, size-wise. This as a plot, as a print, it does look very good, very good, and it's something to keep in mind. And as far as that tutorial goes, that is pretty much it, guys. What I really wanted to do with this is just introduce you to the idea of reading data from your initial sets of results and then outputting this data as something that's usable. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to change the geometry title. But the way that I clicked on this title and deleted it, you can edit titles also. So that could just be changed. Oh, that's rubbish, isn't it? But yeah, I just wanted you to see ways of being able to export these, ways of being able to use these, and just a real tool behind it. What I do intend to do is move to a next phase of this and use the dog bone again, but the parametric sweep that we did, control the parametric sweep, offer orientations within it, and look at it that way, and keep looking at these different variations that we get. As I said, that is it, guys. If there is anything that you're unsure about, if there's anything that you're having problems with, if it's not working, if something's gone wrong, if you are just outright fascinated with the awesomeness of this, please give me a shout. Call me over Teams, whatever. Come and find me at the office if we're actually in the building by now, and come and find me, and I'm always open for a chat even further. What I would like to do with this is feed this data through to Sim Multibody. So when we're using Simulink, and then we're combining both dynamics through to statics, and the idea of being able to have a dynamic system extract variables from the dynamic system, pass that through to comsol for a full analysis, then sending it back is a very powerful tool, very powerful tool. And I do want to really build up to that. Again, these notes, these are just comparative to the notes that we've got for ANSYS. I will do extensions for more advanced versions, anybody's really keen and quite enjoying this. But yeah, if there's not any, and yeah, again, if there's anything that you need, just let me know and I will try and get it sorted. If I don't speak to you then, I'll speak to you in class, so I'll see you all soon.